All right. If you will tell me your full name, when, full date, and where you were born.
Full name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. William P. Perrin. I was born in Houston, Texas. Does it ask when?
Yeah.
Okay. March 19th, 1932.
Um, do you know where did your name come from? Why did your parents give you that name?
Okay. Now this is tricky. Did you know, or you're not getting all this? Um,
I can edit out stuff.
I used to thought I was Patrick William Perrin till I joined the Army tried to join the Navy. Then found out I was William Patrick Perrin. Okay, I had a grandfather that was William Perry Miller. He had a uncle that was named William P. Perrin.
Mm.
So I assume that I don't know where the Patrick came from, except March 19th was close to St. Patrick's Day.
Mm.
So maybe my mother wanted something different other than William Perry. I don't know.
She wasn't Catholic, was she?
Huh?
Was she Catholic?
My mother?
Well, you said St. Patrick's Day.
No. Everybody joins St. Patrick's Day, don't they?
I guess that's true.
Huh?
I guess that's true. It's just she named you after a holiday.
Well, everybody wears green and whatever.
That's
Okay.
true. Okay, so who were your parents' names?
My parents' name
Mm-hmm.
was Sterling Fitzgerald Perrin and Annie Lobrina Miller.
Mm-hmm. All right, and don't worry if you know that I already know the answers to these things. It's okay. I'm just recording them, so don't worry. Because I knew the story about your name, but I wanted you to tell me that anyways.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you don't remember something, it's okay. Just tell me you don't remember something. So what do you remember about your parents or your grandparents when you were growing up? Were you did you live near your grandparents?
On my father's side, he died. My grandfather, about a year before I was born. So I never seen him, but I did know his mother. Uh, and I've seen her several times when we came to Georgetown from Houston. So
Mm. That was on your father's side.
that's on my father's side.
Did you know your mother's parents at all? Did you know your mother's parents at all? The Millers?
Mm, her mother died when she was 10 years old.
Oh, okay.
And her father left and went to California. And supposedly he was there once when I was pretty young, like 4 years old or something, but I don't remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw him. So do you want their name?
If you want to say that, yeah.
Well, I don't know. Let's see. He was, well, I already told you. His name was William Perry Miller.
William Perry Miller.
And she was a Stinnett. And what was her name?
Was that Kate Stinnett?
Kate Stinnett.
Okay, so he was the grandson of Nimrod or the
Yeah.
great grandson?
Yeah, he was his son.
He was the son of Nimrod.
Yeah.
Your grandfather was Nimrod Miller's son. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nimrod's son.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forget it's that close.
Okay.
Okay. Were your parents strict?
Strict.
Were they strict? Did you feel like they were strict?
My daddy was strict, but I wasn't punished except one time, and that
What did you do?
I made some comment to my mother at the dinner table, and he sent me out the door to the hedge we had out there to cut a stick. And then he made me bring the stick back.
You had a switch.
And he whipped me with that stick. But that's the only thing.
That was the last time. Talk about cousin Bobby. I like their names, their full names, your brothers.
Okay. Charles Robert Perrin was my youngest brother, and Sterling Miller Perrin was my older brother. Now, maybe that didn't make sense. I was the youngest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then it was Bobby and then Puz.
Yeah. Are you recording this?
Yeah, it should be recording.
Okay.
Yeah, you're still recording.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was Bobby and Puz.
Not Puz.
Huh? It wasn't Puz back then?
Oh, yeah, it was always Puz, but his real name was Sterling.
Sterling
Miller.
How did he get Puz?
I have no idea. I can't. I think we thought maybe there was a comic strip guy named Puz, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I ever asked my mother or father how did Puz get his name. But anyway, that's it.
Mm-hmm. What was it like being younger than them? Did they get in trouble more? Did they do more things than you? Did you follow them around?
Do what now?
What was it like being the youngest? Like, what did they do?
I was never really associated with them. You know, they had their older friends, and so it was that way.
Okay, were you a lot younger?
Hmm?
Were you a lot younger than they were?
Well, I was 2 years younger than Bobby, and probably 4 years younger than with Puz.
Okay.
So.
Did you have to find other friends?
Oh, I had lots of friends in Houston, but I didn't hang out with them or any of that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What did you like to do? What kind of did you like to play, or did you like to go on exploring, or did you like to read?
Hmm?
What kind of things did you like to do when you were a kid? What did you like? Did you like to play music or go outside?
Oh, I went outside. I went outside and had a lot of friends. Jumped off a top of the garage in a house.
Were you okay?
Yeah. My mama didn't know it, but and I got in a fight one time with a boy, and I socked him. And his mother came to my mother and said, they were in a fight, but he had a ring on his finger, didn't he? And no, I didn't have a ring on my finger. I just hit him too hard.
How old were you?
Huh?
How old were you?
That was when it was when we were in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And I left there in after the 5th grade.
Okay.
Uh, no, maybe it was I left there after the fourth grade.
Okay.
And so it would be, how old would I be in the fourth grade?
Probably about 9, maybe
Probably,
8 or 9.
8 or 9, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because we moved from one house, and Bobby probably was involved in some of this. We used to play games out there on the street. One of them was, seemed like, capture the flag. Have you ever heard them? Ever heard that?
I had to play it in school.
Uh, and another game was, I don't know how to play it, but it was a game where you had a team, and the team is supposed to hide and somebody else to play, to find them.
Sardines?
Huh?
Hide and go seek or sardines or something like that?
Sardines?
Well, sardines and hide and go seek. It's kind of like similar games.
I guess I don't know what the name of the game was anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I hid out until almost dark.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided, well, no one is finding me. They're probably not even playing anymore. So, and we were out and playing a game on December the 7th, 1941.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody came out about Pearl Harbor. And I can remember that. We were out in the streets playing on a Sunday. Now, I don't know why, but at that time, we never went to church, Sunday school, or anything. And I don't know why, because my dad was a Methodist and his father was a preacher. And mother was raised by a preacher.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, what else?
Is that the first big thing that you remember? Like the first national event that you remember was Pearl Harbor?
Pearl Harbor? Yeah. That was, well, now we had a radio, a big radio. Radios that time were this big.
Mm-hmm.
And I did hear on the radio Adolf Hitler's speech.
Wow.
But they did, it was in German. We didn't know what he was saying, but he did make a speech.
Do you remember thinking like that he was bad news when you first heard him?
We knew that it was going to be, that he was, Nazi, and maybe I didn't associate the World War there.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that much about it, but we did see it.
Mm-hmm.
We would go to theaters. Now let's see. That was afterwards, because my father lost his job in the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of late on.
Later on.
Yeah. And he went fishing. He was a good fisherman. He would catch fish and sell them to people. And I think he worked for a little while, but not long, in a bank. And I went fishing with him once or twice, kind of after Puss had left. he took Puz fishing at Texas City on the Galveston Bay. Uh, so I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the Dust Bowl? Do you remember it just being very dry when you were a kid?
No.
No?
No. The Dust Bowl wasn't bothering anybody there.
Oh, okay. It wasn't in Houston, really?
It was people up in Oklahoma.
Okay. Oh, talk about the movies that you saw when you were little. Talk about the movies that you saw.
Oh, yeah. Well, we went to the movies, and I know we bought, the movie only cost 25 cents, and we bought some kind of a candy bar that would last a long, long time. It was kind of a caramel.
The Charleston Chew? Was it a Charleston Chew?
I don't know what it was.
Uh-huh.
But we'd buy candy and go to a movie, and the movie was mainly shoot 'em ups, and they had at an interim a show that was of the battles, to inform everybody of what's going on. Mm-hmm. That was, you could see that at the picture show. Mm-hmm.
So you kind of got news at the picture show too. You got news a little bit at the picture show.
Yeah. Now, when I was a boy at Christmas, we hardly ever got any kind of a big Christmas present. Mm-hmm. I got a little soldier that I played with. Mm-hmm. And Puz went to Reagan High School. I think it was James Reagan High School. I don't know the shame. Let's see. But before that.
Is this still in Houston or is this in Georgetown? Was this in Houston or was this in Georgetown?
This was in Houston.
Oh, it was in Houston? Okay.
And I can remember going to that school, me and several other boys, and we would climb up. There was a window way high and a ledge on it, and we'd climb up and walk around that ledge and look into the classrooms. And one of them had a skeleton. Uh-huh. And at that time, Puz was at school, and we called him Smokey. And we told our daddy about it. And Puz got into trouble.
Got Uncle Puff into trouble.
Yeah. Now, but before that, we lived. Now that was all when we lived in the Heights area of Houston, and my school was Eugene Field, which we walked to all the time. I had boyfriends on our street that we all would walk together up to the school, and it was about 10 blocks away. Mm-hmm.
Did you like school? Did you like school?
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing? What was your favorite thing to do at school?
Pull on us girls.
Pull on the girl's hair?
Yeah, she had. I told you that story before, haven't
I? No, tell me the story.
She lived right in front of, or she was right in front of me, the desk right in front of me, and she had pigtails. And I pulled on her pigtail. and she stabbed me
She's
with her
dead.
pencil.
That's right. That's how you got that scar.
See that little pencil mark?
She taught you to respect
Yeah.
other people's personal space.
Now, the other things I remember were a teacher in some classes would read a book, a story or something, and we would sing. And I thought I was a pretty good singer. But that was after Pearl Harbor. We took up money to what kind of stamp was that? It was some kind of a stamp. But we took up money to buy that, and the money went to, I guess, the government.
Mm-hmm.
And the teacher had to choose some people to go down and do something with that. And the way she picked out was who could write the prettiest on the blackboard.
Okay.
And I won.
You won? Grandpa, I've seen your handwriting.
Yeah. Well, but I won then.
You did?
Yeah.
Very nice.
I can remember that.
You wrote the prettiest.
But before that was when we lived in the Heights. And before that, we lived across town.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, I think it was in kind of an apartment duplex of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And from there was a cemetery down on the street, on a cross street to where we lived. And on Halloween, we would go down that cemetery. And it was really spooky. But on that street where the cemetery was, further down, I don't know the name of the street or anything
Mm-hmm.
now, but they had it was kind of a gully, and somebody had rigged up a rope where you could get up there and slide down that rope.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that. We did a lot of things Mama didn't know about.
Did you get yourself really scared in that cemetery on Halloween?
And I know we went to a movie where the sons of the pioneers were there in person on stage.
Okay.
You know, that's the Sons of the Pioneers.
Coming in.
That was Roy Rogers and several other people.
Oh, you saw Roy Rogers?
Yeah, I saw the, Roy Rogers didn't mean a thing to me then, but Sons of the Pioneers,
mm-hmm.
and I'm assuming he was there because he was
mm-hmm.
he was in that, not at the very start of it, but
mm-hmm.
anyway. I remember that, and there's a girl that lifted me up and wanted to play with me or something. She was, an older girl,
mm-hmm.
and she dropped me on my head.
At the Sons of the Pioneers?
I think no, I don't know. It's in that general time.
Oh, okay.
But, and there we had before that, when I went to kindergarten,
mm-hmm.
I can remember having to wear what is the name of that? Pants that have, come down here, knickers.
You had to wear knickers?
Knickers. And I didn't like knickers, but I had to wear the knickers. And I can remember not liking the kindergarten, but I can remember some arts that we did and so forth.
Wearing those knickers.
And let's see.
You saw Snow White in the theaters when it came out.
Hmm?
You saw Snow White in the theaters when it came out, right?
Yeah, we saw Snow White. And let's see, what was I going to say? Now we had a dog.
Okay.
Her name was Fichu.
Fichu.
Fichu. She was licensed. What do you call it? That it was a full breed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She was Chow. Yeah.
She was a chow. Okay.
Chow.
Mm-hmm.
Red Chow. So her name that we called her was Red Dog.
But her show name was.
Her actual name for the records of that she was a full child was Fichu. And Fichu was pretty bad. If somebody came in our house and was wrestling with us or something, she'd bite them. She did that a couple of times. It was kind of bad. Now I don't remember this that much, but I know they were talking about it. We had a maid. Now this was when Daddy was working before he got fired or laid off, or the thing went out of business, I guess. He was pretty well off. The money that he was earning was fairly decent, and somebody, at the time there, people would come to your door wanting something to eat because they just,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a woman that came to the door, and Fichu got out somehow or other and chased her down the block for about 2 or 3 blocks.
Oh.
She was running as fast as she could go.
Poor woman. Oh. Whatever happened to Fichu?
Well, she came with us when we came to Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what happened to her. All of a sudden, she wasn't there. I'm thinking that she was on the verge of dying and Daddy took her off somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't really know it.
Mm-hmm. What was your house like in Georgetown? Did you have a lot of land? Or no?
No, this is still Houston that I'm talking about now.
Okay. What was your house like in Houston on the east heights?
Well, we moved. Oh, I was going to tell you that we skated on all the sidewalks. I was a good skater.
You had roller skates?
Roller skate.
Okay.
And we would go down 2 or 3 blocks to a store. And when it wasn't open, the parking lot, we'd skate all around there and so forth. And then after the war, or not after the war, after it started, and he lost his job, we moved to the Heights. And wasn't too long before I got a bike that I was really proud of, but it was really a junky bike. Didn't have any fenders on it, but I could ride on it. So I rode that bike all over. And like one time, I guess Bobby and I rode our bikes all the way up to the zoo, which was on Studebaker. Studewood was the name of the street. And it was a busy street. If Mama knew what we did, but she never knew, I guess.
Did you go into the zoo?
No, we didn't go into it. We just rode that far and then came back. And let's see, to put it into this. Now, Mama, she wanted us to read.
Mm-hmm.
She took us to the library, and we got a library card. And I like to read. And she did that.
Mm-hmm.
And then she wanted me to do something else. Something. Puz played the violin.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Can you imagine him playing he was playing the violin, I guess. I don't know how good he was, but in his high school, I guess they had a band or something that he played in.
Mm-hmm.
And Mama wanted me to do something, and it was dance. I didn't want to dance.
Did she want you to be like Mickey Rooney?
And I said, no, I'm not going to dance. So I got off. So.
Did you remember watching things like Mickey Rooney when you were little?
Mickey Rooney?
Yeah.
Mickey Rooney. I know the word, but I don't know.
He was the little boy who he was a dancer too.
Yeah.
It was probably a little bit after Shirley Temple.
Well,
do you remember Shirley Temple?
Yeah.
You watched?
Yeah, we saw Shirley Temple movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while, we rode, after we moved, after the war started, my daddy got a job in the shipbuilding yard in Texas City. I think it was Texas City.
Mm-hmm.
And we moved then from there, and he bought a house, I don't know that he paid it off. It was way across town, across several big streets with a lot of traffic on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would ride from that same school that I went to, Eugene Field, all the way across there to that house on my bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see how, I don't know, other didn't seem to bother her.
Figured you could take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Now, where were you living when you had that bull?
Where was it?
Yeah, where were you at the time of the bull?
The bull?
Yeah, you.
Okay, yeah, I'll get to there.
Oh, okay.
When I was probably in the third grade, I'd been playing with a cat.
Okay.
And the cat died with
rabies?
Rabies.
Oh, the cat had rabies, okay.
And I had to get shots. I got 18 shots.
I didn't know that.
That's what at that time. That's what the doctors did. Now I don't think they do that anymore. But the, there was a little bottle about that big, and we saved all of those bottles. Now I don't. They got lost somewhere in history, but that's the reason shots don't bother me because I had shots when I was in the third grade. 18 of them.
Were they in your arm?
In my arms, yeah.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know that.
I guess that's most of the stuff in Houston. Oh, well, that's when I was baptized. I had a friend down the street from me to take me to what we call the RAs, the Royal Ambassadors.
Mm-hmm.
And I went with them, and then I went with Sunday school. And I guess, I don't know why, but Bobby started going there too. And we both were baptized at the same time.
Okay.
And I can remember having a suit.
Okay.
A suit that, let's see, I had it on the tip of my tongue. The material of it would really get bad if it was in rain. It was
wool?
No, not wool. I can't remember just exactly what it was, but it was my proud suit. And at that house, I had a hammock that I swing in outside 2 trees.
Okay.
And I guess I was pretty close to Bobby then, because we would play.
Tiddlywinks?
It's where you pitch like this. You have 2 holes, one over there.
Oh, cornhole.
And you have a silver dollar. We used a silver dollar at times. My grandfather, mother's sent us for our birthdays silver dollars.
I don't know that game.
It's a takeoff on horseshoes, but instead of a horseshoe, it was pitching things like that. We played that stuff. There was a park right close to our house, and Bobby and I was at that park, and 3 or 4 guys, older boys, came in. They were pretty bad.
Okay.
And they had some boy, and they took him into the restroom, and I'm thinking they dumped him into the toilet. And boy, Bobby and I headed home pretty quick.
You abandoned that boy.
We got out of that park.
You were done.
Yeah. But I would walk to church. It was I bet a mile long. I'd walk there on Sunday morning.
Wow.
And then about that time we moved to Georgetown. I don't know, the war was still going on. But Uncle Sidney, Daddy's brother, hired him to work with his thing, his business in Georgetown. So that's why we went to Georgetown. Oh, and the reason we went, I guess, Daddy had two problems. He smoked a while, but I don't know if this is what caused it. But he had an ulcer in his stomach. And at that time, they operated. He had a big hole in his stomach. And I can remember that. And then he was at the shipyard on a high deck. Oh, well, there's something that's happened before that. I guess his job was to take the steel things and lay it in to the ship side, and then somebody else would rivet a hole in there. Somehow or other, it slipped, and he lost his finger. Now, just his finger. And then later on, he was up on the high deck, and someone bumped him with the pole. They were hauling something, and I guess weren't careful with it, and it knocked him off. And he would have died if he didn't. He caught himself after he fell about 10 feet or so. Then he got out of the shipyard when we went to Georgetown. So, you want to keep on talking?
Yeah, no, I'm listening. Well, if you're tired, we can pause. If you're tired, we can pause.
Okay, so we went to Georgetown.
Yeah.
When I was in the 5th grade.
Yes.
Now I was the oldest boy in the class because Houston, you used to go to high school only 11 years, and then they put it into 12. There was a 12th grade.
Oh, okay.
In Georgetown, they made you go the whole way. I mean, in Houston, they made you go the whole way. But in Georgetown, they went halfway in the 4th grade and then halfway in the 5th grade.
So halfway through 4th grade, you switched over.
I was older than anybody in the class by 1 year, probably.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah. So Cooper Smith was one of the first friends I had when in Georgetown. He was right around the corner. But his father was the head of our own the cotton seed mill. So he was much more wealthy than we were, but he had a big house right around the corner. Do you know where Mother's house was?
We saw it. We drove by.
Okay. His house was just across the street from where Mother's house was.
Okay.
But it got torn down for some reason. But
so he was like your really close friend, Cooper? Cooper was your really close friend?
Yeah, he was close. I had several close friends, Aubrey and Rael. Did I show you the pictures? No, I showed that to Reed.
No, I don't think you showed me, but I'd like to spend some time. Did you ever keep in touch with him after?
Ever what?
Did you ever keep in touch with Cooper after you grew up?
Up with who? Cook?
Cooper, after you grew up.
Well, yeah, Cooper was in the Army at the same time I was.
Same unit?
No, I think he went in first,
Okay.
and he was married at that time
Oh.
to Laura Sue.
From high school?
Yeah. And he was still in the same town, or same Army post in El Paso.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
we would visit each other, and we'd go out into New Mexico and fish up in the high parts there. So
That's cool. All right.
And there were several, lots of things we did. I would go off on the hikes. Mama didn't know where I was. I'd stay all day, Cooper and I, and we would walk down the South San Gabriel River up into the ranch of a friend of his.
Mm-hmm.
There was a cave there that we went into. That probably wasn't the right thing to do.
Were there any snakes?
Oh, there's snakes all around. We were walking one time in there, and I was walking along, and all of a sudden I saw this snake, and I really hopped over the top of it to get out of the way. But in high school, we moved in Georgetown about 3 times, and so the last time I had a friend called Bobby Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a horse right there in the barn, right there across the street from our house. And I would ride that horse with him on the back. And let's see, we would come to visit Grandma when we were in Houston several times. And there was a girl across the street from where Grandma's house was. She had a horse. And we would ride that horse off back. I don't know who owned that property. It used to be my grandfather for one way for back. But there were sunflowers, 6 feet tall. Mm-hmm. And we would ride that horse through those sunflowers and whatever. And we visited there several times before we moved. What?
Squirrel's looking at the basil.
What?
That squirrel was checking out the basil. It looked like he wanted to.
Oh, is he on top of it?
No, he's just running around the floor. Sorry, go ahead. So you would ride the horse through the sunflowers.
Yeah.
Sounds beautiful.
Now, that was when we were in Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, before we moved, we spent the summer in Georgetown. And that's when we carved our initials in the chimney.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when my Uncle Charles died in the Army. And we were there when that happened.
Was that during the war?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that I ever saw him. Because at that time, he was in the Army when we were there, Air Force.
How old
he
was
was a
Puz?
pilot
He was a pilot.
on a B-25.
Uh,
If you know what that is.
it's a bomber, right?
Yeah. And let's see.
How old was Puz at the time? Because was Puz trying to join that, or was he going?
He was in the Navy then.
He was already in the Navy?
Yeah, he went to the Navy about 2 years after the war. I don't know whether he was in the Navy when he died or not, but he crashed.
Charles
did in North Africa. I guess they were flying over Italy and then back, and something went wrong with the plane. Anyway, I can remember Daddy telling us about bumblebees. So Bobby and I got a narrow piece of wood, and there was some bumblebees in the ground.
Okay.
Had a hole in the ground.
Okay.
So when they flew out, we would swat the bumblebees. We didn't get bit. And we also built some stilts that we would walk on. Stilt. We had to get somewhere to get on it because it was so high. But we would walk along on that stilts.
Oh, wow.
Around.
What were they made of? Just pieces? Were they just made of branches?
No, it's made out of 2x4s.
Oh, okay.
And we made a little foot place there.
Did you build a lot of things?
I think we built those. I'm sure we did.
Did you I'm sure you liked building things. You became.
Yeah. So that was before we moved there. And then we did move there. And I went to the Boy Scouts. Cooper took me to the Boy Scout troop that he was in. And our troop leader was Dr. Hobson. He was a dentist. And he was my dentist. And I had teeth problems.
I was going to say, it doesn't sound like you like him that much.
No, I liked him, but when he was the dentist, it was pretty bad. He would drill holes and fill cavities in my teeth without any sedative or anything.
Did they not have it back in the day?
I don't know whether he knew about it or not. But he said, "Oh, you're a scout. You just buckle up." And I might think he stuck something in my mouth where I bit down on it. Does it hurt you? Yes. It hurt like everything.
That's funny.
But on that scout unit, how we could ever gotten by without being killed, I don't know. We were there spending a night in the park, and I don't know, we were acting up or something, and so there were some older people there that were helping Dr. Hobb with the Boy Scouts. And they took us for a hike all along the North Gabriel River and this was up into midnight. How we got across that river without getting bit by a snake, I don't really understand it.
Guess you were good scouts.
So, do you want to keep on?
No, we can stop for today. Last thing, we'll talk about the
You
bowl.
already know the story about that.
But that's not the point. I'm recording the story.
Oh, okay. All right. So, we had a big bull on the farm. And I was helping Daddy out more on the farm than Bobby was. I guess Bobby was off at college. So the neighbor called us and said the bull is in their backyard. Can you come over and take him home? And Daddy said, go get the bull.
I didn't know that's what happened.
And I went over there and got the bull, put a rope around him, and was leading him home. And I had to cross the fence. And the gates of the fence were just a pole with barbed wire. And you'd open that up, and then you could close it up again with a ring of barbed wire. And I turned my back to the bull to open the fence, and he butted me.
How hard?
Well, not too hard, but he did do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had something. I think I had a stick in my hand anyway, and drove him off, and then got him through that gate, and I was coming to the barn, which had a wooden fence, ready to put him into that place, and the rope got somehow or other under his legs, so I bent down to get the rope out, and he really hit me then. And so I went in to tell Daddy about it, and he said, "Oh, I'll go out there and take care of him." So he went out there, and I was kind of following him, and he got him into that thing, but he was in there also.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy was.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, the bull got Daddy into the corner and was really running over. And I reached and grabbed a pitchfork and drove him off.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I thought that was a story where you like snuck into the bullpen and like he chased you around a bit.
No, that was Daddy. Daddy was in the pen.
You're making noise.
And I was on the outside. I was leaning over the fence to drive him off.
Oh, I didn't even know that was the way the story went. I thought that like when you were really little, you went into the bullpen and you got chased around.
No.
Okay.
No. Oh.
See, that's why I'm asking you these things, because I didn't know it right. Okay.